Welcome to Purple Peanut Productions. My name's Raina and I am the owner of this YouTube channel. I am making myself known so I can let you know who's behind the worst audio recording ever for Yaqui Delgado Wants to Kick Your Ass. Yeah, it's been a few years and it's still not done. Seems like that's a really bad job on my part. Nursing school is hard, and maintaining a relationship is hard, and speech and debate is hard, but those are just excuses. So while we're all on coronacation, we are going to finish this thing finally and get her done. So let's get started. Yaqui Delgado Wants to Kick Your Ass by Meg Medina, Chapter 8. Ma thought she'd be a piano teacher once. She studied all the way to the third-year examinations in Cuba. But when she got here to the States, there was no money for fancy lessons, much less any time to spend on hobbies. That's the only dream she's ever told me about. But she won't say too much else, since piano music reminds her of my father. Our piano is a relic from when my parents were together, so I don't know why Ma keeps it if she doesn't play it. Leela says, Mom used to play a mean tumbayo, but now she acts like the Steinway is just a place to prop up knickknacks. I'd love to be able to play some of those Latin grooves myself, but no matter how many times I've begged Ma to teach me, she says no. I even bought Latin sheet music and started teaching myself just to tempt her, but she wouldn't bite. And it's hard to teach yourself to play the piano when you can barely read music. It's Bach you should listen to, she tells me every time I ask. Not salsas by heroin addicts. Last year for Christmas, she gave Leela a Kmart CD called Timeless Masterpieces, hoping to steer us both her way. I don't have the heart to tell her it's still shrink-wrapped in Leela's bookcase. Sometimes I wonder if piano music is why Ma fell in love, or as she says, ruined her life. Not that she'd ever tell me. She keeps the story of her and my father to the Cliff Notes version. His name was Augustine Sanchez. He was from Santo Domingo, a real brain in his country, but he wouldn't find work, and so he came here. He played the organ every Sunday at St. Michael's Church, the Spanish Masses at 11 and 2. He left before I was born. They were never married. And that's it. I don't even know what he looked like. There's not a single photograph left of him anywhere. Leela helped Mom burn every picture of him when he disappeared. Neither one of them is one bit sorry, either. Mom calls him my lousy destiny. Leela just calls him the scuzz. In fact, all I have left of my father is his last name. And I think that's only because Ma couldn't stand the shame of leaving father's name blank on my birth certificate. What if the hospital people thought she was the kind of woman who couldn't remember the names of the men she slept with? Why do you want to know all of that old history? Leela says when I ask about him. Your mother takes care of you, doesn't she? And I'm always here to help. Forget him. Because I want to know. What if I'm riding next to him on the bus and never even know it? What if he has other kids and I marry my own brother by mistake and my kids come out funny? I don't add the rest. What if he's sorry and misses us and wants to send me to good schools and give me piano lessons? Leela shakes her head and looks at me with her eyes a little sad. Not a chance, mija. The scuzz went back to DR with his tail between his legs. Leave it at that. I'm in my still nearly empty room again on Friday. I'm blasted in old sun and dancing with an imaginary partner, waiting for Mitzi to call me back. I'm keeping a list of everything I want to tell her. She's been so busy these days. Practice, tests, clubs, the phone rings, and I think it might be her. Unfortunately, it's Ma, and that ruins everything. Meet me at Met Foods at 5. It's 4:15, and she's on break. We need some things, and I need your help carrying them, she says. We got a big TV shipment today. My shoulders are numb. Can't we go tomorrow? I beg. Don't be lazy. Chicken is on sale, 2 for $5. We'll take some to Leela. God knows if she's feeding herself without us. You want her to end up like looking one of those scrawny Russian models? Ma hangs up. By 6:30, I'm walking by the schoolyard with Ma. The sun is starting to sink behind the buildings, but unfortunately it's still daylight, so I can actually be seen. We're each hauling 2 bags. Ma's got the light ones with the plantain chips and napkins. I've got 4 roasters, which took Ma 15 minutes to pick. She made me rummage the whole refrigerator case to find the best ones. The chain link fence feels too long, especially with Ma's sneakers squeaking every step. She clutches her bag and frowns at the kids hanging out on the pavement, like she's ogling man-eating cats in a zoo. An old pit bull song is blaring from the radio. The bass makes the ground shake. It takes everything I've got not to pump my hips and move to the beat. I pray Ma won't start in. If there's one thing she can't pass up, it's warning me about life's dangers. There's lurking everywhere, from dirty toilet seats to strange men waiting in alleys for girls stupid enough to be out alone. No luck. No one decent hangs out in a schoolyard. Oiste? She starts. She's loud enough to hear over the music. Shh, Ma, please. Look at that one. She actually points. A savage on the street. Kekurusma. When I look across the yard, a jolt of fear runs through me. Of all people, it's Yaqui Delgado, live and in the flesh, like a nightmare that stepped into the real world. She's playing an old game called Suicide with 3 other girls. I can tell she's lost the last of her points because she's leaning her back against the schoolyard wall, waiting for the firing squad to shoot. The other girls start to launch their hard rubber balls, 9 free shots in all. But Yaqui doesn't flinch. She keeps her hands behind her head and smiles, even when a ball hits loudly near her ears. Even when one hits her squarely in the mouth, those yearbook eyes are flashing with fire as she's pelted. It's like she wants more. I keep my eyes down, hoping Yaqui is too preoccupied to spot us as we go by. Sometimes I swear Ma's going to get us killed with her mouth. I'm hurrying, but she won't let up. Decency is her favorite topic these days, or the lack of it. Working at a trauma only makes it worse. The news blares all day on dozens of screens until she's in knots. Rapes, attacks, beatings, just for being in the wrong neighborhood. You name it. She's convinced the world has gone putrid. If I'm not careful, I'll be swept away in the tsunami of filth too. Son unos cualquieras, she mutters. Nobodies. No culture, no family life, illiterates, she means. The kind of people who make her cross to the other side of the street if she meets them in the dark on payday. They're her worst nightmare of what a Latin girl can become in the United States. Their big hoop earrings and plucked eyebrows, their dark lips painted like those stars in old black and white movies, their tight t-shirts that show too much curve and invite boys' touch. The funny thing is, if I could be anything right now, I'd be just like one of them. I'd be so strong that I could stand without flinching if people pelted me with rubber balls. I'd be so fierce that people would cross to the other side of the street when they saw me coming. Yaqui and me, we should be 2 hermanas, a sisterhood of Latinas. We eat the same food, we talk the same way, we come from countries that are like rooms in one big house, but instead, we're worlds apart. From the corner of my eye, I see that Yaqui and a few girls have started to play handball now. It's a hard and quick game, all instinct. Yaqui's not wearing a jacket, even though you can see her breath in the air. A tank top shows off her cut shoulders. Me, I'm trailing my mother home with a bag of dead birds and frozen Yukon, like a sap. Ma sees me watching. I didn't sacrifice to have you turn out like one of them, she says. Hurry, I say. The light up ahead is blinking yellow. All I want is to go home. I don't want to hear about Ma's sacrifice right now. I've heard about El Bombo 1,000,000 times. Cubans couldn't come to the United States like people from other countries. They had to enter a freakish government-run lottery. That's what Ma did, and she likes to make it sound really dramatic. How she ran with her curlers still in her hair to mail her name to the lottery people. How she prayed to every saint for her name to be pulled for a visa so she could keep from starving. How when she first landed in America, she sat in an airport, waiting to be claimed like a piece of luggage by a cousin she'd never met. How she's worked like a dog ever since. And so on. I cut in front of a car just in time. Ma is older, slower, so she's stranded, waiting for the light. "Pity!" she shouts after me. I'm sure Yaqui has heard. I don't slow down as my name echoes in the street. I'm practically running until I reach the door. "What's the matter with you, Piedad?" Ma is out of breath when she finally catches up with me at the front door. Her sneakers have come unlaced, and she looks even more worn out than usual. She doesn't even try to say hello to Mrs. Boyka, who is at her spot guarding the last of the fading roses. "Where's the fire?" I grit my teeth as I fumble for my key. "How can you say bad things about someone you don't know?" I shout. "How can you hate a stranger? Why do you have to pick on people?" She's no better than Yaqui. It's like everywhere I look, there's a bully in my face. My keys won't budge the sticky lock. I'm mute with fear and anger as I rattle the door and give it a hard kick. Ma blinks at me in surprise. The corner of her eye is jumpy as she straightens her back like a concert pianist on the bench. "What's wrong?" she demands. "You're shaking. Tell me what's the matter." What can I say that won't make things worse? If I tell her about Yaqui, she might storm to Daniel Jones in her squeaky shoes and rant to the principal about savages. Then I'm dead for sure. I hate this stupid apartment, okay? I hate it. I wish we'd never moved. Ma looks like she's going to say something else, but then she shakes her head and digs through her purse. "Dios te mi ama," she mutters. "You've been moody all week." It's been 15 years since she's gone to St. Michael's, but she crosses herself like a nun and shakes inside the blackness of her purse for her keys. Chapter 9. Saturday is the busiest day at Salon Corazon, and that's why Gloria Mori sometimes asks me to come in with Lila. I'm so bored on the weekends without Mitzi, and the tips are good. Besides, I need money to buy a new sweatshirt before the weather turns much colder. Turns out chocolate milk stains, worse than blood. Gloria is the owner, and business has been so good over the years that she's rich. She has a house in Great Neck and a lady who cleans and cooks for her. Everybody knows Salon Corazon. It's a 1-part hair salon, 3-part social hangout. She has 6 hairdressers, 2 shampoo girls, 3 manicurists, and me. As far as I know, there's only one golden rule she has for us employees. And it's not that you have to be legal, since she'll pay you in cash if you want. No, what Gloria demands is that you make her clients happy. When she unlocks the door for business, she calls over her shoulder, "Sonrisas!" And that's our cue to paste on our happiest faces. She puts out endless pots of café negro and vanilla ladyfingers, and she never complains if her customers come a little late or hang around to talk after they're done. It's a beehive of gossip and harmless arguments shouted over the sound of the dryers. Sometimes it's so crowded in here you can hardly move, and you think it would drive her crazy. But no, this is just how she wants it. "Mijas, in this business, you need to be like an Alka-Seltzer," Gloria always says. A comforting relief. Basically, my job is to fetch coffee, sweep up hair, and fold the hot towels from the dryer in the back. Sometimes, if there's a new nail polish line, I'm the hand model too, on account of my nice uñas that stay long. It's not bad, except when Gloria's dog is in the shop, like today. Fabio is an old Shih Tzu with long hair. He's got one blind eye and a nasty disposition. If I'm not careful, he bites my ankles. Hard. Not even my high tops help against his needle teeth. I have to arm myself with a squirt bottle to keep him in line when Gloria is not looking. Nobody dreams of complaining to her about that nasty creature, though. She adores him. It's like she birthed him herself. Gloria's next favorite is Leela, naturally. In fact, Leela's the favorite shampoo girl around here, making even more tips than the hairdresser. That's good news for me, since Leela sometimes takes me shopping on Saturdays and treats me to dinner too. As usual, she's been giving out love advice all morning. That, and inviting customers to her next Avon party on Halloween night. I'll serve a little rum, play a little music, and make everyone have a good time, she says. It will be a party. I'll come if your boyfriend is the bartender, somebody calls out. Leela laughs from deep inside as the room breaks into applause. Lately, the hot topic everyone wants to know about is her boyfriend, Raul, the cop. I've met him a couple times. He's all right. Big teeth if you ask me. Who knows how long Leela will keep him. I saw you two dancing at the club, one of the manicurists says through her face mask. He looks hotter than William Levi. Lucky. She shakes her fingers like she's been burned. And she giggles. I just listen as I sweep. If you want to know anything about anybody's love life in Queens, come to Salon Corazon on a Saturday. You would not believe the private stuff a woman will say when she's in a plastic smock with a head full of foil. It's like the chemicals are a truth serum. In no time, she'll tell you all you want to know about her lousy husband and the good-looking neighbor with the big you-know-what. Just then, Fabio growls and lunges at my broom. Knock it off, I say, spritzing him. I didn't sleep well, and he's been nipping the whole morning. Vete! Dios mío! Is that Calera's girl? I look up from the pile of brown curls on the floor. A customer at Leela's sink is peering at me from under the towel she's using to guard her eyes. Uh-oh, it's Becca, the show-off cashier at Levi's pharmacy. Her daughter, Mercy, is studying medicine at Cornell on a full scholarship, which she has to mention in every conversation. Becca used to give me lollipops from behind the counter when I was little. She's a big lady with shelf boobs and full lips. If you didn't know any better, she could take her for a guy in drag. Come here, let me take a look at you. Oh boy. Yeah, that's pity. Leela winks at me as she works up a nice lather. She'll be 16 next week. Gorgeous, right? You should see her with her hair down. I stand there feeling a little dumb. At any minute, somebody's gonna ask me if I have a boyfriend. Or worse, how school's going. She looks just like Clara, Becca says. Igualita. I glance at the mirror. Do I look that sour today? As sour as my mother? This is something I've never considered. My dark hair is pulled back in a ponytail, and I've broken out. I suppose she meant it as a compliment, though. Gracias. I force a smile and go back to sweeping. Where do the years go? Becca continues. Just yesterday, my Mercy was playing doctor with all her dolls, and this one was a sticky-fingered baby. And now look, Mercy is studying at Cornell, and Biddy is all grown and beautiful. She turns to me. Tell me the truth. I'll bet the boys die for you. My cheeks feel hot. Not really, I say, but Becca isn't listening. Estás hecha una mujer. She shakes her head sadly. A lot of the salon women tell me this. You've become a woman. None of them ever sounds too happy about it. She pulls back her towel again and looks up at Leela as if something has just occurred to her. Now that we're talking about her, how is Clara? Anyway, I haven't seen her in ages. Is she dating anyone? I almost laughed out loud. We're talking about Ma here, after all. Leela shakes her head. She says she's too busy. What woman is too busy for un bueno hombre? Leela shakes her head again and sighs. I tell her, but she won't let me fix her up. Becca clicks her tongue. Who can really blame her, though? Her eyes cut to me, and she finishes her sentence with a knowing look. I stop pushing my broom. Ma dating is ridiculous. I can't even picture her enjoying herself here with her friends. Ma hasn't set foot in Salon Corazon since I can remember, even though everyone else she knows comes here. She always says, You can get just as good a haircut at a beauty school on Main Street for $10, even though I know you're lucky to get out of there with both your ears still attached. Mira para esto, Lila says, clicking her tongue. Becca, how could you let your split ends go like this, mija? Your hair is spongy. I can't let you out of here looking like this. She motions to me. Pity, por favor. Get me the deep conditioner from the back. It's in the red bottle with the pump top. They're trying to get rid of me, of course. I move off, but stop, just inside the beaded curtain to listen. Luckily, Becca's voice is big like the rest of her. La pobre Clara. I still remember that terrible day, don't you? Becca says. Que escandalano. Augustine, that two-timer, he broke that woman's heart forever. Fabio trots over and starts to snarl in the doorway. He curls back his lips to show his little razor teeth. His milky eye fixes on me. Shut up, or I'll stuff you in the dryer, I hiss. But it's too late. He erupts into a frenzy of yips and lunges. Lila turns around and peers around the doorway where I'm standing. She arches her brow. Pity, did you find it? I have no choice but to head to the supply room. It takes me a while to find the conditioner, way on the very top shelf next to the acrylic nail tips and wigged mannequin heads. So Lila is already rinsing when I get back. What can I say, Becca? You know those types of men. They only know how to love with this. She points to her groin. Not with their hearts. And forget about loving kids. She spots me waiting by the beaded curtain and stops talking. I've been feeling sleepy all morning, but now I am suddenly very awake. Okay, bebita, Lila says after I hand her the bottle. Now let's see about this mane. That evening we go shopping at City Fashion and stop for pizza at Vesuvio's. It's a dive, with a grimy floor and stuffing coming out of the vinyl seats. But it has the best Sicilian around. Lila lets long drips of orange grease slide onto her paper plate. I'm sitting in my new hooded sweatshirt, stirring my Coke with a straw and thinking. You're not hungry? Lila looks at me carefully. My slice is untouched. You've been so quiet and look a little pale. Maybe you're getting sick? Did my father have another woman? I ask suddenly. The question hangs in the air for a few seconds, like a bad smell. What? Did my father fool around? I heard that Beba said about him breaking Ma's heart. Is that what happened? Lila drops her slice and wipes her puckered fingers. Ave Maria, pity. Do we have to talk about this stuff when we're eating? You know my stomach. I'll have indigestion just thinking about that guy. Did he? She shakes pepper flakes all over her pizza in a fury. I don't want to talk about it. Just tell me already. It's not fair for Ma to keep something like that a secret, especially if other people know. How do you think that makes me feel? She puts down the shaker and sighs. Life's complicated, Pity. People keep stuff private sometimes. Why should they go around remembering bad things? Besides, there's no rule that says you have to tell people everything in your past. Look at you. Are you going to tell me you don't have a few secrets of your own? She gives me a long look, waiting, but I don't answer. See? We eat in silence for a few minutes. Either he was a cheer or he wasn't, I say at last. And I should know either way. It doesn't matter, she says. It does. My throat squeezes into a stone as I say what I've thought for so long. He left for a reason. Because he had a girlfriend? Or because he just didn't want me? Lila stares at me for a long time. Her long last lipstick has finally worn off, and her face looks tired even under her blush. Inside her brown eyes, I can almost see her torching all of my father's photos, bagging his ties and undershirts for the trash. Why all that rage and secrecy? Part of me doesn't want to know. The same part that wishes I could be a kid again and just let Lila hug me so I could feel her heartbeat through the wall of her chest. but I'm almost a woman now. That's what everyone says. There's no going back. Have you asked your mother? She asks. I shake my head. You know, Ma. Yeah. Leela stares at her chipped fingernail polish for a while. Then she whispers, your father took on a girlfriend, and he got caught. He didn't care who got hurt. He had a little churma? I asked. Leela looks like she's going to be sick. Her lips are opening and closing as if she doesn't know what to say next. Come on, Leela, I say. I'm nearly 16. When do I get to know the story of my own life? She takes a deep breath and nods. You should be talking to your mother about this. But I'm going to tell you because I love you. If you tell anyone I told you this, even Mitzi, I won't speak to you again. Te le juro? She makes the sign of the cross to tell me it's a second oath. Promise. Augustine was already married when he met your mother, Penny. His girlfriend was your mommy. Things got sticky when you came along. For a second, I'm speechless. In fact, I'm sure I don't understand. Wait, you're telling me Ma had an affair with a married man? She shakes her head, exasperated. Look, let's forget this whole business. I shouldn't even be talking about this with you. Clara would tear my skin from my bones if she knew. I should never have opened my mouth. But I don't stop. You're telling me that Ma got pregnant by a married man? Then it all opens up for me. Ma was a chusma? Don't ever say that again, Leela says. It was nothing like that. Her voice is loud and sharper than she's ever used with me. She didn't have all the facts about that scuzz. I stare at her in shock. She takes a deep breath. Sorry, she says. It's just that you have to talk to your mother about this one, Pitty. Believe it or not, there are some things that even I know are not my business. She picks up her pizza and takes a savage bite. Now eat.